Okay, welcome, everybody. It's the beginning of December. I've already started the recording because I want to start on time and end on time. Not sure why a couple people are telling me they cannot find the access registration link. It's in our Facebook group. So hopefully everybody will find it, or I cannot pilot the chat room, my text box, and the webinar all at once, as much as I try to multitask. So anyway, welcome to our All Out Massive Action group. I'm so proud of you, and Michaela won the November beautiful prize, and not inexpensive, I might add, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell, the whole CD series, and we'll be sending it to her in Canada. So I think the Canadian postal will cost me more than the CD series, but she did a great job, and hopefully whoever's listening is going to step up a little bit more activity so that you can hopefully win the December prize. So if you're really going to push it, say yes in the chat box. And I have to tell you, I am so enjoying preparing for these calls, and it's refreshing. A lot of fundamental stuff that, you know, after you've been full-time for 21 years, you do things sort of like on autopilot. You do things automatically. And, I'm so glad, Frank, Molly got the login. So, you know, it's interesting to go back to the fundamentals and think about, well, how did I learn how to do all this stuff? And trust me, guys, if you have days where you're frustrated, you have no idea what the word frustration means, what I went through for those first 5 or 6 years, banging my head against the wall. And that's why I so love what we're doing. So this week, I know that this was, let me tell you what I'm doing as I'm listening to all these trainings. I'm taking notes. I mean, really copious notes. And I'm shutting off my phone. I am shutting down email. I am shutting off all distractions. And let me tell you why. According to brain research and the science, you only retain 2% of immediate recall. Only 2%. So an hour later, maybe 1%, if at all. 2 days later, you're going to barely remember you even listened to anything. So that's why if you use multiple senses, both the visual and the auditory, and you review your notes, it then becomes a part of you. But answer me in the chat room, what really makes the difference? Listening, writing, or actually doing? Which do you think is the most important? Listening, writing, or actually going out and doing it? And it's okay to forgive yourself if you sound like an idiot. Trust me, there are still days that I go, why in the world did I say that? Or why didn't I say this instead? But that's how we get good. So if you are serious about where you want your life to be this time next year, and is it possible to make $1 million in 1 year? Yeah. I mean, there are people that do it. But if you don't have the skills, how are you going to go from a 0K to a 50K to a 500K without bettering your skills? So this week we were going with Eric's skills, the 7 skill sets, and one of the most important skill sets is finding prospects, and it is a skill. It is an absolute skill because initially people are not prospects. They're suspects. You have to ask questions to determine, would they possibly be a candidate for the product? Would they possibly be a candidate to want change and really need change and become a business partner? Hopefully they're going to fall into both categories, because that's what makes Zango unique. For 21 years, I've heard the dilemma. Do you lead with the product or do you lead with the opportunity? What do you think the answer is? Do you lead with the product? Do you lead with the opportunity? And this was a dilemma for me, especially for women. Oh my gosh, women are, we need to change the world. We need to make sure that there's science behind everything. And if you'll notice that most men chase the money. I mean, just they're hunters, they're gatherers, they're protectors, whereas women need to be passionate. But in Zango, they're equal. They are absolutely equal. So when I'm having a conversation with someone, I immediately confirmed that they agree with me that nothing is more important than living longer, healthier. And those are the words I use. Would you agree that nothing is more important than living longer, healthier? And then we go into a conversation. What do you do? How long have you done it? If you had all the time and money in the world, what would you rather be doing? So in my opinion, we really have to develop this skill to not only finding prospects, but then how do you invite them to take a look and at what we have. And of course, this takes lots and lots of practice, because you want to convert a suspect into a prospect. So at least you're aware. Are they open to better health? Are they open to better finances? Hopefully both. And how do you qualify them? In the old days, when I say the old days, maybe 7-8 years ago, there used to be lots of training on how to handle objections. And I laugh at that today, because if you do your job right in the qualifying process, meaning, asking people the right questions, if you found something you loved, if you found something you could be passionate about, where would you find the time? You're already time-stopped. Where would you find the time? If you found something you loved, if you found something you could be passionate about, do you have at least a couple $100 set aside to start your own business? If you found what you loved, something that you could be passionate about, are you the decision maker, or is it your spouse that makes the decision? So you see, every objection that you're going to get, if you reverse that and wait till the end when you ask for the order, you already know where they're going to find the time. You already know that they're the decision maker. You already know how much money they have that they can spare to start their own business. Does that make sense, guys? Does this make sense at all? I sure hope it does, because anyone, absolutely anyone, regardless of your age, your background, your education, can learn how to do this. The big word is if. You practice, tweak it, practice, tweak it, practice, and practice more. Does that make sense? Okay, because the presenting of our products or the business is really easy through Zango University. And if you're not yet a member, I got to tell you, you're missing out. If you would like to take a campus tour, easy. Just send an email to faculty@xuworldwide.com and ask for a 3-day pass, and go explore and see the thousands of dollars of rich content back there that's there to help you and your business partners develop both personally and professionally. Because the closing is an assumption. How would you like to get started? What products do you want to try first? And, of course, with all the promotions that hopefully you're aware of, although there's some brand new people on the call, we want to make sure that they understand ADP rewards, that they understand nothing beats free, they understand how to qualify right now for Holiday 100. And, of course, if they do all those little things, they're going to qualify for the trip to the Mexican Riviera, to the now Sapphire Resort, with Zango paying the bill. Without waiting till you're a Premier or a 500K, you can be literally a 1K and make the trip. You can be a 5K and make the trip. So how many on in the message box, in the chat box, are already qualified? Because the first trip qualification ended Monday, which was November the 30th. Who is qualified at this point to go on the first trip? And if, Chris, that's my boy. Oh, my goodness. Chris is engaged. I mean, he was at the XBA. He's on the calls. He's got more kids than I can count, and yet he finds the time to work on his dream. Now, if you're not qualified for this next trip, the new qualification started yesterday, and I understand that the qualification is going to go for 7 months for the next trip that's going to be in August. So who wants to qualify for the next trip? Now, Chris, guess what? I'm going not only on the first trip, but hopefully I'm going to go on the second trip as well. Chris, you're going to make the second trip as well? I sure hope so, because you can go twice a year. I mean, think about that. You know, it's funny. Okay, Michaela is already qualified also for the Paradise trip. But think about it. When I ask people this question, and I always ask it, if you had all the time and money in the world, if you had all the time and money, what would you want to be doing? What would you want to be doing? And what do you think the most frequent answer is? Yes. Yep, Jean-Marie, travel. Everybody says travel. They love to travel. But you know what? It's even sweeter to travel when somebody else pays the bill, right? Okay, so 2 people in the chat room have qualified so far. We need at least a dozen people qualifying, okay? So it's interesting. Jean-Marie is always stepping up. She's not afraid to practice. She's not afraid to hone her skills. And she sent me an email literally 15 minutes before the call with slides because she was so impressed with our beloved Jim Rohn. And boy, has the world lost a powerful person that has changed the lives of millions. And of course, is everybody on the call subscribing to Rewire Your Brain? Oh, Tessa is qualified. Yay, Tessa's coming on the trip too. Way to go, Tessa. Oh, are we going to have a blast? Is everybody subscribed to the Rewire Your Brain, which is every day? I send out an email in the morning as soon as I can get to it. And so far today, I think, was day 16. Am I correct? Today was day 16. And the first series, the first 30 series, is with Jim Rohn, who I obviously adore. And I think you'll find if you listen to the audios several times, each time you're going to hear something you didn't remember hearing before. And that's because of that 2% recall. But everything that's coming on this Rewire Your Brain is all from Zango University. It's all there for you, absolutely free. And Mark, thank you. You created a playlist in our group, so people have access easily now to the 16 so far. And, of course, we still have half a month to go. So Jean-Marie is going to share with us for about 10 minutes, because we want to really, really try to make these calls as short as we can. Jean-Marie, are you on the speaker code? Are you with me? Checking in?
Yes, I'm here.
There you go. All right. So I'm going to let you fly through Jim Rohn, one of our most powerful inspiration and motivational people on the planet. So over to you, Jean-Marie.
Thank you, Sandy. And I just love listening to Jim. He's just very inspiring. His voice, everything about him is phenomenal. The first variable that Jim speaks of is purpose. And he says we can accomplish anything when we have a clear purpose. And our purpose carries us beyond weeks, even into years. From a seminar I've been to, I have a purpose, and my purpose is joyously serving others. And the next one is self-confidence. We can't neglect, on the next slide, we can't neglect the small daily tasks or disciplines. We have to feel good about ourselves. And I'm now writing every night my accomplishments with my blessing list, which shows me in detail what I've actually done, because I have a tendency to think I haven't done that much. And once I started doing that, I think I've put in a lot of effort in a day that the accomplishments list helps me see. And Jim speaks of several times on this video about doing our very best, and that is one of the agreements of the 4 Agreement book, is do your very best. And I know, I'm sure everybody on the call is in good health, better health, which certainly gives me confidence because of all the things that I can do that sadly you don't see a lot of other people doing them because they're not taking products like we are. And their self-confidence affects our health, our future, and our psyche. And we're always willing to rise above, and that's what we're all doing here on the Massive Action Call, is rising above and building our self-confidence, and I think all these variables that we're going to discuss. And the next one is enthusiasm. And he says that one is a powerful, it's mostly the enthusiasm is inside 90% and outside 10%, which I found that very interesting. And I often say, and our minister reminds us a lot in one of the prayers that she does, we have to answer with zeal and enthusiasm. And I use a statement from our founder of Unity Church, Charles Fillmore's. I try to remember to say it regularly every day, and he used to always say, I fairly sizzle zeal and enthusiasm. And it does affect the inside, and it ends up affecting the rest of my day as well. And the enthusiasm it has to do with the testimonials flowing in from our distributors. And I need to know that I'm getting the job done by being quiet and unheard. And that builds the enthusiasm as well by finding some silence. The next one's expertise. And have to continually wanting and taking action on excelling our skills and being the best that we can be. And we do that by getting on our trainings and taking workshops and self-developments and influence our languages and through our organizations. In preparation, we can be well prepared by setting our goals and schedules nightly. And I have to work on that one. I stay busy until too late, but I'm getting better at it. And I need to prepare and be ready for the fortune, the success, and the challenges, and the opportunity. And that's, again, what we're doing here with this massive action. We're moving towards success in the new year coming of 2016. And sitting quietly and reaching into our souls, we can become stronger and receive good ideas. And we also have to give to receive. The next one, self-reliance. I'm primarily the person responsible for the distributors to rely on, so I have to rely on myself and I have to count on myself. and not to be complaining and explaining. And know the importance of self-image, because others will see that in me and see that I'm in control and I'll be more influential. And the image is also important, and how I appear to myself is ultimate, because it's going to affect how distributors and prospects, what their reaction to me will be, and that has an effect by the way I dress and talk and think, and what I learn, and continually learning is going to be have a big effect on it. And the next one's the character. The greatest values and principles and honesty I have will determine the respect that I'm going to receive, that I do receive. And I also have to put together a plan and have integrity and principles and character, and develop that character myself, and rely on everyone else. And I mean, we have to rely on people from recruiting to the distributors to our leaders to right out through to our founders. And the next one is self-discipline. Jim Rohn says this could be the challenging one, and I find that to be true, especially having my office in my apartment. I'm working on, there's a computer downstairs, and I've been working on going down and using that, because there are no dishes to wash or beds to be made or anything downstairs. And I can be focused and have better self-discipline. And I have to say that I'll do the best job that I can, and to find remedies if there's a mistake or if anything out of the ordinary occurs. And the extraordinary performance is the last one, and it's demanding of myself excellent results, living an extraordinary life, and have the satisfaction of earning it all. And keep working on the performance year after year, and ask and demand the best of myself. No one else is going to demand from me, and actually they probably might not even care if I learn any skills, so for the benefit, I must demand that of myself.
Great job, Jean-Marie, and great job on the slides as well. And thank you for stepping up and volunteering. And you know, when people jump on like this, they're not really comfortable yet doing this because it's new to them. But the more you do it, the more comfortable and the more professional in your presentation, in your delivery. So you're really growing beautifully, Jean-Marie. And I just want to highlight a couple things. You know, the word discipline comes up so often, and it's interesting. There's also the word decision, discipline. You could just say the word out loud to yourself, discipline, decision. I mean, these are very, very strong words, and that's the secret to success. You have to be disciplined to do the tasks that you sometimes don't want to do. And the only difference between people that are really successful and those that fail are that really successful people know their discipline is to do it even when they don't feel like doing it. End of story. That's the only difference. And, you know, right now, obviously I'm on my cell phone, my mobile device, and it doesn't matter whether you're iPhone or Android or whatever. If you look in your phone and you look in your calendar for tomorrow, you should already have in your calendar exactly what you're going to do for the day. In fact, today I actually double booked. I cut things too close because I usually give an hour for an initial call or a three-way call, and one of my very important calls went almost 2 hours. and I had to text the lady to apologize up, down, and sideways, that I just didn't figure that the call was going to take, and she was sweet as anything and said, no problem, call me back whenever you can. So, but the point is, before I go to bed at night, the very last thing I do before putting my head on the pillow and shutting out the light is taking one last peek at my calendar. So, I don't know, something about just before I go to bed, I visualize all these wonderful things that are going to happen the next day. Try it. Share it with your buddy. Send them a screenshot of what your calendar looks like tomorrow, because that will tell the tale. That will tell the tale whether you're going to participate in the holiday hundreds, whether you're going to be on the trip to paradise. Because if you don't have at least two follow-ups and maybe 2 or 3 people that you're going to make that initial call with, then you're not disciplined to do enough. And there were one of your slides and something Jim wrote about, you've heard the saying, dress for success. And, I so remember when I was teaching school, probably before some of you were born, which was in 1963 during the days of integration. And I graduated Temple University and volunteered to be the first white female in an all-black school. And you talk about tough. These kids, I would stop knife fights in the schoolyard. I mean, it was a very difficult situation. And I made a mandate in my classroom. And I was only teaching second grade, but in those days, they held the kids back. So some of these kids had been in second grade several years, and one of them was taller than me. So I said to them, they had to come in their church clothes to school. I mean, good dress pants, a shirt, and a tie. And some of the kids didn't have ties. They just lived in an environment where there was no male to borrow a tie from. So my husband and my dad used to donate all their old ties, and these kids would wear them. And the reason I did that is because they didn't fight in the schoolyard anymore, because their mother would have killed them if they ruined their good pants. So that was my psychology. So just remember how you look. Sadly, first impressions only take about 2 seconds. So be aware. I mean, sometimes, I live in my workout clothes because I have cute workout clothes or cute pajamas. But when I leave the house, I sometimes go, I really should change my clothes, depending upon where I'm going, right? So you have to ask yourself at night, just before you go to sleep, how did I do today? Be your own worst critic. Could I have done more? Could I have done better? What could I have done differently? And think about this. This is all about team building. It's not about what you do. It doesn't matter if Chris Paul sponsors 99 people in the next year. It doesn't mean anything, because the magic to network marketing success is duplication. So even if you only sponsored 5 or 10 and a portion of those duplicated, that's where that dream money comes in from. So what would your team look like? Think about this. What would your team look like if they did exactly what you did today? Today's Wednesday. What would your team look like if they did exactly what you did yesterday? What would your team look like if they did exactly what you did Monday? So look at your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You're midweek now. Okay, this is hump day. What are you going to do tomorrow that's going to be better for your results? Now, I think, Joaria, didn't you text me that you have some thoughts to share as well tonight? If you're on the speaker.
Yes, I made it.
Okay, good girl.
What a day. It's been a very exciting day. Oh, boy.
One of many. Okay.
Yes. I tell you what, it's great when you can find relatability to these mentors that I'm not meeting. You know, I've never met Eric Worre, and I would have loved to have met Jim Rohn. I love Jim Rohn. I really love him. I mean, like, I would like to adopt him as a relative. I really love Jim Rohn. One of the things that I felt it, and I took notes, like, all in my computer, and I thought it was in my notebook, and I realized, nope, it's in my computer. And I took notes like I was trying to get every word that Jim Rohn was saying. And one part that really got me, he was talking about self-reliance. He said, you simply look mostly to yourself. Primarily rely on yourself. I will learn the necessary skills. I will have to be the final backstop. So if something is missed, I can fill it in, and I can do the job. He said, never complain and never explain. If there is something that has to be learned, I am continually trying to be my best. I love that. And he said the most important thing is how you look at yourself in the mirror. And I was like, wow. I felt that. I don't know, sometimes life can kind of get away from you a bit. And, I was one person before I got married and had stepchildren. And it's like, well, I remember, really being what is the word I'm looking for? I was very overly driven. I'm still driven. But when you have family and, a husband and children, your energy kind of spread out a little bit differently. And I love this business. I can feel that kind of, with all the stuff that I'm learning. And I really appreciate the 30-day rewire, all of it is really, this is great stuff. I mean, and I don't think people realize how much money, if they wanted to get these programs, it would cost. I mean, talking about a couple of thousand at least, right? And so it's really, feeding us what we need to learn in order to be better, to be bigger, to have more of an impact in the world. And that's, that's purpose, and that's the whole point of it. That's where the passion comes in, is to have purpose, to be, you're not driven without purpose. So, all of that is necessary. And one of the things Eric was talking about, and it kind of bounces back to that self-reliance, he was talking about, learning the skill of, basically meeting people and building your list and all of that, and relying on yourself for that, but it's a skill. And when he said it, I kind of giggled because it's like, I know, but then he's really emphasizing, it's a skill. It's like, yeah, it is. It is a skill, isn't it? It's not something you really think that you have to literally learn. Do I have to learn to meet people? Yes. At this level as an adult, as a networking adult, and in all honesty, it's something that we all should be doing naturally, right? We should be living in the world and connecting with people more, and trying to not only connect for our benefit or to build a business, but to connect to serve. Because we never know who we might know that can help somebody else that we know. And we can be that go-between. And is that not a great position to be in, right? And he talked about Lou Holtz and another guy, I can't think of his name right now, and how the guy went overboard trying to help him with his child that he was trying to adopt from out of the country. Even though it wasn't successful, he appreciates the man's effort, his true effort to help him out. And that also gives us purpose and passion and drive. And one of my favorite things that I love, and when I heard it, I understood it, but I didn't understand it. Jim Rohn always talks about Shoaff, his mentor, and he mentioned to him, well, why don't you become a millionaire? And sure enough, Jim Rohn said, that sounds good. That sounds really great to me. And Shoaff said, not just to be a millionaire, but because of what it's going to make of you. And that means so much more at this point. What it's going to make of us. Why not? Because of who we're going to become and what we can offer to the world. That makes it all worth it. That gives us something to live for. That gives us purpose. That makes it really worth something. That's all I have to share.
Thanks, Joe, so much. I mean, you had some really good high points there. And, you know, in Zango, we really do make a difference. And I really believe that if your purpose, if your passion, if your mindset is to be of service to others, not about the next sale, it's not about the next sign-up, it's about who can you help, who is in pain, who is in discomfort with either not feeling their best or struggling financially. So when you ask the right questions, they themselves will let you know where their pain is, and then you then present our solution. But, you know, it's interesting where you say you wish you could have met Eric Worre or Jim Rohn or John C. Maxwell or Brian Tracy or Les Brown or the list goes on and on. But, Joe, you do. You can be with them even when Jim Rohn is no longer on this side of the dirt. I mean, you just listen to his audios. You read their books. That is what makes them great masters, that they have given us a gift that we can reach out to them at any time. I don't get as excited about meeting somebody face to face and for 2 seconds shaking their hand or taking their picture with Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, he'll never remember who I am. There was a list of about 1,000 people in line to shake his hand and get a picture with him. But what I value is their contribution. What I value is that I have access to any one of them whenever I want. And I think that's the key to utilizing them for your own personal growth. And it really is, you know, all of this is, you know, why do I take time to develop the curriculum? It's not just for you, it's for me too. Because in Zango, this is a team sport. No matter what I do, doesn't matter. It's what I duplicate. What matters is how do I help others duplicate what they're doing? How do I help them believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that they're going to reach their goals? Now, I don't have a crystal ball, and I don't know when that's going to happen, but trust me, it's all directly proportionate to your skill. When your skill gets really, really good, and you know you're hot, you know a conversation went exactly, you know, picture perfect, textbook perfect, you know that you're on your way to your financial goals as well. So thank you for sharing, Joe. You always do such a good job. But I can't emphasize enough, practice, practice, practice again, practice again. It's when you stop practicing that you will not get the results and you'll just keep banging your head against the wall. Just remember this, you know, I don't care what company you look at. There are leaders, and I know a lot of them, that you shake your head and you say, how in the world? I mean, they can't walk and chew gum. I mean, they're the worst presenters. They don't have good grammar. You can see they're not educated. How in the world are they making this kind of money? It's because they learned some simple skills and repeated them over and over and over again until they got really, really good. And guess what? Were they frustrated? Of course they were frustrated. Ask Eddie, do I get frustrated? Absolutely. Because sadly, you know, I'm still trying to control my emotional roller coaster. You ever talk to somebody and you go, oh, you get off the phone, oh boy, do I have a good one. They are perfect. They are so hungry. They need this. It's going to change their world. And then they go into the witness protection program and you can't even follow up with them on the appointed time frame for the next call. So it happens to all of us. Sometimes it happens to leaders even more because we have more conversations. So we're going to get probably more frustrated. But when you realize it's all part of the game, it's all part of the process to get successful and stay successful. Does that make sense? I sure hope it does. And, I found this slide, and, to me, it's all about your mindset. Do you really, really, really know what you want? Have you written down your why? Not in your head, but have you written it down? And it's interesting in Eric's session, and like Joe, what I do, because I can't read my handwriting, I do what I call chicken shorthand on my computer. Hang on a second while I put my glasses on. But I want you to tell me, and if you can be honest, and you have to be really, really, really honest now. And if you don't want to put it in the chat box, don't. But he classified people into 3 categories. Do you consider yourself a poser, an amateur, or a professional? A poser, amateur, and professional. And the truth is, if you didn't take good notes, you're probably not going to remember the difference. Because truth is, I didn't either. I had to go back and look at my notes. So a poser is somebody, I'll never forget this lady in the UK who came in, she bought some product, and a week later she says, I'm not getting a commission check. Why not? And I said, well, you didn't do anything yet. Well, I should still be getting a check, but you didn't do anything. You didn't sponsor anybody. There's no volume on your team. I said, why do you think you should be making money? And this is 2 weeks into Zango. And she says, well, that's what I heard online, that you don't have to do anything. You don't have to talk to anybody, and you're going to be making money, and I should be making $10,000 a month within 3 months, not having to do anything. So the point is, sadly, the hype and the lies online, I would say 99% of people, and I think I agree with Eric, they come in thinking they're going to hit pay dirt, that they're not going to have to work, they're not going to have to work on their personal and professional skills. They want a system. Just show me how to sign people up. Show me where to get them. I'm in a fishing pond, and there's fish in that pond, and how do I get my share? Well, we're not looking for posers. And the truth is, I'm starting to get the mindset that if they're not willing to work on themselves, I don't need the fast start bonus and the couple months of renewal commission, because in 90 days, they're going to be in the WPP. You know what the WPP is? Put it in the chat box. Because sadly, according to the DSA, 7 out of 10 people are going to be in the WPP within 90 days. So why waste your time with them? Yes, Marilyn, you've heard me say it, Mark, the Witness Protection Program. Do you really want to waste your time on people that are going to go into the Witness Protection Program? Let them tell you up front. If you're looking to win the lottery, I'll sell you some products that, I'm not going to invest my time in you. I'm going to put my time where it's worthy. And part of that initial is, have they submitted their 10 in motion, their 20 in motion? Have they written a list, and the kind of written list that is very much a scope of influential people. Eric calls it a candidate list. And, you should have a little notebook, where you're writing down the names of people as you think of them. And go get their phone number on Facebook. You can get their phone number, their email addresses. You can Google them, whatever. But that list is never ending, never ending. You should be always I have a spiral notebook because I do a lot on social media. I have a spiral notebook that just is for Facebook friends. And I jot down their name as it shows on Facebook and what company they're currently in. Like right now, I don't know if you know the telecom company Solavy. Well, that crashed and burned. It shut its doors. Doobly, which is what I really considered a money game, Doobly just recently changed its comp plan and no longer is paying distributors for the yearly renewal, which is what they all were counting on, because very few people buy online. And if they do buy online, what did this guy tell me today? He's been in Doobly for 18 months. Personally sponsored 62 people. And the most he ever got was $18 in a month. $18. And he invested thousands. So the point is that, you need to decide, do you want to deal with these posers who are looking for money games, who are looking to win the lottery, or are you going to be a professional who does things the way professionals do it? And there's no shortcut. That's an amateur. Amateur looks for shortcuts. There is no easy way to become great. End of story. End of story. I mean, just look at a physician, for goodness sakes. A physician. They invest 10, 12 years. I was at the gym yesterday and listening to an ad about a massage therapy school here in Nevada, and you can become a massage therapist in as little as 7 months. 7 months to trade time for money. I mean, the massage therapist is no different than a surgeon. If they don't have their hands on somebody, they're not making any money. And yet 7 months to be educated, and then you got to go find your clients or work for a spa. And I know here in Vegas, in Lake Las Vegas, they've got 2 hotels, the Westin and the Hilton, which used to be the Ritz-Carlton. And I one time said to a masseuse, they're charging me $125 for a 50-minute massage. Would you share with me how much of that you get? Guess how much they get. The hotel or the facility charges about $125, sometimes more. Guess how much the massage therapist gets for an hour's worth of work? Anybody want to guess? Mark, you're a little high. She told me $25 out of the $125, because the hotel has overhead. They have electric, they have rent, they have employees, they have receivables, it's a business. So my comment to you is, don't listen to these trainings once and take notes. Listen to them again and review your notes again. And when you want success, as much as you want to be able to breathe the air, that means you've got to sacrifice. You've got to do whatever it takes. No, Mahela, they get $25 out of that $125 that's charged to the client. So decide, are you a poser? Are you an amateur? Or are you working on becoming a professional? So be realistic with yourself. Where are you now? Where are your skills? And if you're not accomplishing your goals, guess what? You will. I promise you, you will. You just have to. How was it that Jim Rohn or Zig Ziglar said, work harder on yourself than you do at your job? Because, when you're working at your job, yes, you want to be the best that you can be, but you're making somebody else wealthy. You need to find the time to work on yourself. And one of the ways to do that is grab some of Zengo's extra money, for goodness sake, the holiday hundreds. And, you can sponsor people. Now, this is distributors. This is not customers now. So make sure you understand that. You sponsor a distributor. And in addition to the Fast Start money, the 25% and the 15%, for every 3 people you sponsor with just 100 PV, just 100 PV, especially with holidays now, you should be shopping from your Zango store, not from Walmart or Nordstrom's, because they're not going to send you a commission check, right? Okay. So every 3 people, you're going to get an extra $100 plus the 25%. So that's actually $175 for every person, every 3 people that you sponsor. So turn up the steam, guys. And originally, I don't know if you caught this, the Holiday 100 maxed you out at earning $500. So that if you did more than sponsoring 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 people, and you sponsored more, you couldn't earn any more Holiday 100s. Well, they took that away. There's no limit on how many Holiday 100s you can earn, and this isn't just through December, it's extended through January 31st. Think about that. So when you think about New Year's resolutions, what are the 2 biggest New Year's resolutions? Anybody know? I'm looking in my chat box. What are the 2 biggest New Year's resolutions? Lose weight and make money. Everybody wants their life to be different. It's lose weight and make money. Yes, yes, yes. So we can show people how they can quickly make a lot of money with our power of 3. And when you do the Holiday 100s, guess what you're also doing? You're getting points to go to paradise. The Now Sapphire Resort, it's rated probably one of the best in the Mexican Riviera. And we are going there on Zango's dime. So how do you earn the points? Please go to zango.com/paradise. If somebody could put that in the chat room, it's zango.com/paradise. So you know what it takes to qualify to go on this trip. I mean, guys, this is for people who are no-Ks. They're just coming in tomorrow. They haven't even gotten their order yet. They can go on this trip to paradise. I mean, who in the world would not want to do this? And to earn the points, it can be that you're sponsoring a customer or a distributor. Either one. Doesn't matter, but they do have to have an initial order of at least 100 points, okay? And when they go on ADP, you actually get even more points, because when they order on their 2nd month and their 3rd month, you get extra points as well. And if you got over, I think it's over at least 500 points, you can take a guest. You can take a guest. Isn't that amazing? And over the 500 points, they give you money for spending for some of the excursions. One of the excursions I saw was, what did I tell Eddie we were going to do? Swim. You know how you sometimes go on these trips and you swim with the dolphins? Well, this trip they have swim with the sea turtles. Now, I've done, what are those big fish? Sunray. Eddie, what were those fish we swam with? Stingray? What were they? Stingray. Yeah, stingray. We swam with stingray. I was terrified. I even kissed one. Now, because I've never swam with sea turtles, we're going to do that as well. Who wants to come with us on that excursion? Yes, yes, yes. I sure hope so. Anyway, we appreciate you all. We are going to do our Unlocking Your $1 Million Mindset on December 16th, because we're actually going away for the holiday with some of our emerging leaders, and we're really looking forward to that. We're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff in wine country, and we're going to be masterminding with some creative new things we're going to be launching in January. So we're going to do our call on the 16th, and Steve Benson has stepped up, and he's going to do Chapter 8. And Jean Marie, did you say you were going to do Chapter 9? I think you volunteered for Chapter 9. So I'll post that probably tomorrow in our private Facebook group. And by the way, anyone that you'd like to invite into our group, they can start where we are now, and they can always catch up on anything that they've missed. And the good thing about what we're doing is we're not charging. I mean, most of these trainings that you're watching the videos on cost hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And I am giving all of this to you at no cost. All I want you to do is take the training and then practice. Take what you learn and put it into action. Now, one little thing about the activity tracker, if everyone could please do me a favor. I really want to acknowledge people that are following the protocol. On Sunday night at the latest, will you please post your activity tracker in the group? Make sure your name's on it and the week beginning ending, so I know the dates, and your total for the week at the bottom. So if everybody could agree, will everyone agree to do that by Sunday night? That will be terrific. And that way, December, we'll see who's going to win another prize. And I'm hoping that maybe we even have a tie, that maybe somebody has, two people have so many points that I'll have to give out maybe 2 gifts. So please post your activity tracker with the dates, with your name on it by Sunday night, so I can print them out and have a copy of who is in the lead, and maybe even give some reporting along the way. Although the truth is, if you're posting it, anybody can see where you are. So I would just that would really help me out a lot. So what dates represent a week? So the week goes from Monday to Sunday. So today is what? Today is Wednesday. So when we get to Sunday night, you should do your activity tracker for this week that starts on Monday, ends on Sunday. And that way we have a full week, because I don't know about you, but I did a lot of calls on Sunday. Sunday's my day to catch up and ask people permission. Would it be okay for us to connect? Just let me know what works for you, maybe after church. So that has worked for me as well. Well, I think that's all we've got for tonight. Appreciate you all. As you know, I love to end with our song, and this will be recorded, and I will post it into our group sometime tomorrow afternoon. Have a great week. Let's put our hair on fire and go to work. Everybody agree? Yes, yes, yes.